Stellantis CEO just made a major move against Tesla. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares just canceled a major deal with Tesla, costing them billions of dollars. He thinks that they can beat Tesla in EV sales and meet emissions targets without Tesla's help. Stellantis sells its vehicles under Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Fiat, and Alfa Romeo. But could this be a mistake? And why the sudden hate against Tesla? Come with me as I tell you all about how this affects you and why Stellantis CEO is going against Tesla. So here's what happened in a nutshell. The government has set up an EV credit system, which basically means if a company sells EVs, they earn more credits. But if they don't, they will either have to buy EV credits from another company or pay massive fines to the government. Tesla is the king of EVs right now, and they've not just been making billions in EV sales, but by also selling EV credits to other companies. Stellantis happens to be one of them, spending billions of dollars just to avoid paying fines. But hold on to your hat, because Stellantis is saying no more. They're fed up with funding their competition and are ready to switch up their game plan. How? By going all in on electric vehicles. Now, while this is good news, Stellantis CEO might just be too ahead of himself because Jeep's EV sales are kind of non-existent right now, but more on that in a minute. But wait, there's more. The CEO of Dodge and Ram under the Stellantis umbrella, Tim Kuniski's dropped a bombshell. He straight up said they're not buying a single carbon credit from Tesla. Not now, not ever. Talking about making a statement, huh? Kuniski's even talked about how not having that safety net of buying credits forces them to step up their game and make tough decisions. Now, here's where things get a bit murky. See, in North America, Stellantis doesn't really have a lot of EVs to offer. Like, they've got a couple of plug-in hybrids, but that's about it. So how are they going to self-regulate and avoid buying credits when they don't even have enough EVs to meet the standard? But could this backfire on Tesla too? Let me explain why these credits could cause more damage to Tesla than one might think. First up, let's talk about Michael Burry, the guy from The Big Short. He's making waves by betting big against Tesla, to the tune of a whopping $534 million. Now, why is he doing this? Well, he's got his eyes on Tesla's reliance on regulatory credits to stay afloat financially. These credits are like a lifeline for Tesla, bringing in a cool $518 million in revenue just in the first quarter of this year. But here's the kicker. Burry thinks this reliance on credits is a major red flag for Tesla. He thinks Tesla is soon going to lose for traditional car makers and eventually die or go bankrupt as legacy automakers like Ford and General Motors learn to make cheaper EVs. Now, let's zoom in on Tesla's playground, the US, China, and Europe. In China, where the EV market is booming, Tesla's earning credits left and right. Even big players like Volkswagen are shelling out cash to Tesla for these credits. And in Europe, where emissions rules are tightening faster than you can say EV revolution, Tesla's raking in the green. But here's where things get spicy. Stellantis, the big auto conglomerate formed from PSA and Fiat Chrysler, has been Tesla's big customer, splurging over $2.4 billion in credits between 2019 and 2021. Now, let's rewind the clock a bit. Remember the 2010s? That was the decade when Tesla cashed in big time. Major automakers were scrambling to meet emission targets, and Tesla was there to save the day with its surplus of credits. But here's the twist. While Tesla was leading the charge on electric vehicles, other automakers were dragging their feet. They would have invested in EVs, but instead they chose to cut corners and buy credits from Tesla. Fast forward to today, and those same automakers are feeling the heat. They're stuck in a bind, struggling to catch up in the EV race while Tesla zooms ahead. They spread propaganda about EVs being bad, but forget the fact that it's the only possible future. No matter how good gas cars get, they will always have emissions. Sure, EVs have some problems right now, but the cases are quite rare and are also being fixed quite fast. Stellantis is taking jabs at Tesla, but let me tell you about their own EV sales. They haven't launched a single electric vehicle in the United States yet. So you know how everyone's been hyping up electric vehicles or EVs like they're the next big thing? Well, turns out it's not all sunshine and rainbows for every automaker out there, especially when it comes to making a profit. Let's start with the big picture. EV sales in the US saw a 50% bump in the third quarter compared to last year. sounds impressive, right? But here's the plot twist. Everyone was expecting even more. Instead of popping champagne bottles, auto bigwigs were scratching their heads, wondering why demand for EVs isn't skyrocketing like they hoped. Only Tesla seems to be making profits right now. Now, let's zero in on Stellantis, the Franco-Italo-American auto giant. Their CEO Carlos Tavares recently made headlines by claiming that Stellantis is in the back of EVs in both the US and Europe. Translation, they're supposedly turning a profit on these electric wheels. While Tavares is singing praises about Stellantis' EV profitability, the reality might be a tad more complicated. You see, Stellantis is betting big on electrification, with plans to launch a whopping 75 electric models worldwide by 2030. Impressive, right? But here's the catch. They've got 0 fully electric models on sale in the US. Yep, you heard that right. 0. Zilch. Nada. And while they've got some EVs in the pipeline, they're not hitting the market until, well, sometime in the future. But wait, there's more. Stellantis isn't just talking the talk, they're walking the walk with their upcoming electric lineup. They've got some fancy sounding platforms like the STLA Large, which promises to be the brain behind their next-gen electric rides. But these are just plans, while other car makers already have the lead. While Tavares is painting a rosy picture, the reality might be a bit different. Sure, they're claiming to be profitable, but are they really? And with competitors like Tesla nipping at their heels, can they keep up the pace? But here's the real kicker. Stellantis is doubling down on their electrification plans, despite the sluggish EV adoption rates. They're plowing ahead with a hefty $54.4 billion investments in EVs and related tech through 2030. It's like betting the farm on a horse that hasn't even crossed the starting line yet. And with potential political changes on the horizon, who knows how the EV landscape will shift? Let's kick things off with Trump. The man's on a mission, swearing to put an end to what he calls the madness of Biden's EV push. Why? Well, he's playing to win over Michigan voters, a key battleground in the political arena. Trump's painting a doomsday scenario, warning that Biden's EV obsession will spell the end of the auto industry as we know it. According to Trump, if Biden's plan rolls out, Michigan will be a ghost town, with China swooping in to snatch up all the auto jobs. It's a scary tale he's spinning, aiming at winning hearts and minds in the state that knows cars like the back of its hand. But hold your horses, because Biden's not backing down without a fight. He's all in on EVs, doubling down on his push for a cleaner, brighter future. The Biden administration's been dishing out incentives left and right, dangling carrots like tax credits to sweeten the deal for consumers. And they're not stopping there. They've got big plans to revamp auto manufacturing facilities, pumping billions into the EV revolution. It's like a superhero swooping in to save the day, armed with cash and clean energy dreams. But here's where things get spicy. Trump's not just waving his fists in the air, he's taking direct shots at Biden's allies, like Shawn Fain, a president of the United Auto Workers. Trump's calling out Fain for cozying up to Biden's EV agenda, warning that it'll send all the auto jobs packing to China. It's a classic move, divide and conquer, aimed at stirring up dissent in the ranks. Meanwhile, Biden's playing the long game, betting big on EVs to revitalize America's auto industry. And he's not alone. Automakers are placing their bets on the EV gold rush, pouring billions into electric dreams. But here's the kicker. Trump's not just talking smack. He's got the power to throw a wrench in the works. With a stroke of his pen, he could undo all of Biden's EV incentives, leaving automakers high and dry. But let's not forget the real heroes of this story, the American workers. They're the ones caught in the crossfire, facing uncertain futures as the EV battle ranges on. Some are rallying behind Trump, fearing that Biden's EV dream will cost them their livelihoods. Others are pinning their hopes on Biden, banking on his vision of a brighter, cleaner future. As for Stellantis, they've certainly made a huge mistake, and the CEO might have said too much too soon, but who knows? Maybe they can somehow launch some amazing EVs this year and take the lead. What do you think? Could Jeep ever make better EVs than Tesla? Let me know down in the comments below. Check out my channel for more of such stories.